What's up guys, JDC here, and today we're going to talk about the upcoming SPUMC films and all the Sony Marvel films. Whether it's the Tom Holland Spider-Man film set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or this film set within their own cinematic universe, which I'm willing to bet the SPUMC is the CRAVEN universe. Let's get into it. So Venom 3 was announced at CinemaCon to officially be happening, but the script is officially being written by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marshall, and this was confirmed the other day. We still don't know the plot of the film yet, but I can assume it's gonna be Toxin being the main villain, given the fact that it's set up in Venom Let There Be Carnage. But there's also the possibility that it can also deal with the multiverse. Venom 3 could also be a multiverse film, and the reason why is because at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, yes, Venom is indeed transported to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with all the Avengers, and that's even capitalized on in Spider-Man No Way Home. In Spider-Man No Way Home, the post-credit scene features Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock being transported back to the SPUMC, but leaving a piece of the symbiote in the MCU. And I'm willing to imagine in Venom 3, Sony, now that they're technically a part of the MCU, even though their universe is separate, it still can be a multiversal link. And I think that that's an incredibly beneficial idea as well, because you don't have to have it take place in the MCU. It could take place in a different universe, but still be canon. And I think that's a good idea because also, not only would it not fuck with continuity, it would also expand the multiversal story of the MCU, or the MCM as it's known now. So imagine that they will reference Spider-Man No Way Home in Venom 3, whatever it ends up being. I assume Venom 3 will indeed have the villain Toxin, or any of the other symbiotes that Sony owns the rights to. Because of the events of Venom 2, the SPUMC is now linked to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so they could do a whole lot with Venom 3. The main villain is probably going to be Toxin. I hope that's true. I think that would be really cool, even though he's more of an anti-hero, and Sony, they fucking love their anti-heroes. But yeah, they could do a lot with that. They could explore the effects of Venom returning to his home reality and leaving a part of himself in the MCU. I hope that Eddie Brock faces off against Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man instead of Tom Holland's, but I'm also down for him to face Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think that would be really cool if he did face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And they could do that now. I don't know what the symbiote in the MCU, the piece that was left at the end of No Way Home, I don't know if that's going to bond with an MCU variant of Eddie Brock, or if this Eddie Brock is going to come back to the MCU after maybe, Avengers Secret Wars or something like that. So we'd have to wait and see. But yes, Venom 3 is officially confirmed, and the script is currently being worked on by Tom Hardy. Up next, we got CRAVEN The Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson as Sergei Kravenov. Since I last talked about it, the film has had some cast updates, including Russell Crowe as Nikolai Kravenov, Ariana DeBois as Calypso joining the cast. We also have Chameleon officially confirmed in this movie, played by Fred. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I don't want to butcher it. We also have Levi Miller joining the cast and Christopher Abbott. We don't know who they're going to be playing yet, but there are a few guesses, so we'll get into it. The film is set to be released January 13th, 2023, during my senior year of high school. And yes, the film is officially coming out. There have been some set photos like this. I assume this is during one of the big action sequences in the film. I'm honestly very interested to see Aaron Taylor Johnson's portrayal of CRAVEN the Hunter. This is also CRAVEN the Hunter's big on-screen debut. He was actually originally supposed to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, but it ended up becoming a multiverse film, which is a film I actually prefer because I think this finally gave Tom Holland's Spider-Man the true Spider-Man arc. He finally feels like Spider-Man to me, if you get what I mean. The film that is coming out after that is Madam Webb, starring Dakota Johnson as Madam Webb, Sydney Sweeney, who we don't know who she's going to be playing in the film, and a new cast member that has just been announced. Said would also be joining the cast of Madam Web. This film is also apparently actually set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know if it's set within the main MCU or if it's set within the SPUMC, which is a different reality but canon via multiversal link. So that Madam Web will indeed be set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means she can interact with characters like Doctor Strange. Or, even if it is in the SPUMC, it could still interact with Doctor Strange. It's the multiverse. We're in that saga now. On my list is fucking El Muerto. I mean, holy fucking shit, they're actually fucking making this movie. So El Muerto has only been in 2 Spider-Man issues. So the only news about this is that Bad Bunny is set to star as El Muerto, which is a Mexican professional wrestler in the Marvel Universe, who has only been in, yes I said, 2 Spider-Man issues. Now, this whole thing is fucking ridiculous that they're actually fucking making this movie. I mean, not even and I'm like one of the biggest fucking Marvel fans like, ever. I fucking love Marvel. Not just the fucking movies, but the comics, too. I mean, Jesus Christ. No, if Avi Arad, I love you, Avi Arad. I love you. You're great. You're great. You're great. I mean, no disrespect. Great. Fucking great. Even though you made some weird fucking decisions, you're still fucking great. Alright, besides the point, I want to know what Sony executive, even though I do like the films Sony makes, even though some of them are misfires, I still enjoy them for what they were. I want to know who the fuck was snorting just a giant line of coke like, holy fuck. Alright, I know exactly what Latino Marvel character the fans want to see with their first Latino Marvel character. It's not Spider-Man 2099, which the fans want to see. Oh, they really want to fucking see that. Nah, fuck that shit. We're doing fucking El Muerto, starring Bad Bunny, a character who's only been in 2 issues. It goes like this. There's a gold platter with Spider-Man 2099's name. It's gold. There's signs pointing to it. It's glorious. The fans want it. And it's like the cup of everlasting life in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's a beautiful artifact. Sony picks it up, throws it at the fucking window, and looks for the bottom of the barrel, finds fucking El Muerto. That's how it fucking went down, alright? Like, that's how it fucking went down. Like, that, I'm not even kidding at this point. But despite that fact, I'm still definitely going to see this film. I am. I have to. I fucking have to. It comes out January 12th, 2024, and I will definitely see this movie. I will. And who knows? It's still part of the Marvel universe, still part of the multiverse, and I still have to watch it. So, yeah. Before you say, Jack, it's just because you don't like professional wrestling. Bullshit. That's not true. I fucking love professional wrestling. And I'm down to see a movie set within the Marvel universe that's focused on professional wrestling. It's just, this is such an obscure, odd choice. And this comes from me, who loves it when obscure characters get shots. But, like, yeah, at the end, I'm still going to be happy you got a shot. Because it's going to be dumb, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to have a blast with it. I mean, I'm the motherfucker who bought Morbius on Blu-ray. And 4K Ultra HD. It's come from me. And by the way, Morbius 2 might also be a thing, but that has not been confirmed yet, so. We actually have Nightwatch. Yes, I actually own fucking Nightwatch comics that I got back in 9th grade when I first heard about this film. I had always known who he was, but I never knew they were actually making a film about him. I already knew they were making a film about Morbius back then, because that was announced in like 2017. But for some reason, I'm surprised this eluded me. So, ever since I started high school, I want to know what the fuck is going on with this movie. There hasn't been a lot of news since 2018. Spike Lee was originally set to direct the film about Nightwatch, but dropped out. This film will also be set within the SUMC. I don't know exactly who's going to be playing Nightwatch. They haven't confirmed that yet. There really hasn't been news about this since I was in 7th grade. So, but yes, this is still one of the films that is coming out in the SUMC. And yes, I own 4 issues of Nightwatch. Yes. So there's also Jackpot, but there's no news about that thus far. It's been announced. It was announced years ago, but there is still no news about Jackpot. So, but that is set within the SUMC. Also, Spider-Woman, which is being directed by Olivia Wilde, and it will follow the Jessica Drew version of Spider-Woman. And there's still no release date on this one, but we do have a director. It will be Olivia Wilde and be most likely be set within the SUMC, or it could possibly be set in the MCU. We don't know. We thought the same about Morbius, but that ended up being set within the SUMC, but brought in the Vulture from the MCU into the SUMC because of Doctor Strange's spell. And I think that was because Andrew Garfield, as Eric Foss from New Oxo says, possibly his Spider Totem energy might have actually brought the MCU Vulture to the SUMC, or it's just Sony being Sony, who fucking knows. But still, I'm fine with that, honestly. It really does expand the multiverse, so it's cool. And there is no confirmed date for a Morbius sequel, so we don't know yet. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention this. This is a different day, as you can tell by the shirt, but I completely forgot to mention this. There are also 2 other films announced, Black Cat and Silver Sable. We don't know much about those films. We don't know a lot about Black Cat or a lot about Silver Sable. We don't know if the Black Cat film will feature Felicity Jones once again reprising her role as Felicia Hardy. We still don't know about that yet, but only time will tell before we find out. Or it could be just a completely new rebooted version of the Amazon Prime series that's set to be in live action, also in development at the current moment. Silk was introduced in the MCU. There's Cindy Moon Silk, or Cindy Moon at least, was introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't think they're going to be following that version of Silk. I think they'll probably do their own SUMC Silk. We don't know yet, but only time will tell. Strange report of Vulture getting his own solo movie. Little weird, but I don't know what they're gonna do with that, to be honest, so I don't know if it's true. There's also reports of a Scorpion solo film, which would actually have to be set within the MCU because Scorpion's in the MCU. Like, that's an MCU villain they got right there. But there's also the fact that through the sky cracks in Spider-Man No Way Home, there's different versions of Scorpion that appeared up there, and different versions of Spider-Man villain from across the multiverse, so they could do something like that. Or they can ask Marvel Studios to have this Scorpion film be set in the MCU, which would be a little weird. And apparently Electro's getting his own solo film. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with that, but those are just rumored films. We don't know if that's going to happen. There's also strange reports of last year of a film called Dusk, which was based on the Marvel character Dusk, that is a Spider-Man adjacent character that apparently Sony was going to make. I don't know if they still are or if it was ever confirmed, but yeah, that was one of them. I'll be fine if they make any of these films, to be honest. I'll always watch them no matter what, but like, still, this was a film that there's not really a lot of news on. It was announced like very briefly last year and then never talked about again. TASM 3 is also a film that a lot of people have been petitioning for, including myself. I really want that to happen. I think that'd be a great idea to make TASM 3. They can with the success of No Way Home, and not only that, people want to see Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man. So give him his like own solo outing, another third solo outing for his film to complete his trilogy. Not only that, they can have the villain of that film be Venom or someone else. We don't know. Make TASM 3. TASM 3 is indeed a film that could actually be set after Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's about him returning back to his own universe and what happens after he returns back to his own universe. And that's probably what's going to happen if they ever do decide to make Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4. This is a film that could actually now happen, and also, along with the Make TASM 3, make Raimi's Spider-Man 4. Not only that, people want to see Raimi's Spider-Man 4. This has been petitioned for a long time. I remember when this film was canceled way back when. I was very young, and I do remember those days, honestly. I have a very far memory when it comes to stuff like that. And I do remember when Spider-Man 4 was canceled. It was a very sad day for me, honestly. But I would love to see Spider-Man 4. Hashtag make Raimi Spider-Man 4. It's a possibility. You guys can do it. It could also be set after No Way Home. They could do something with whatever Raimi wants to do for his fourth film. But I don't know if they're going to do Vulture. That was originally one of the plans, but they could do something else maybe. I don't know. Either way, make Raimi Spider-Man 4. On to the officially confirmed MCU stuff with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Will indeed be getting another trilogy, and probably another trilogy after that, I'm willing to assume, and with his adult years. But the next trilogy is going to be his college trilogy, taking place after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, to me, Spider-Man No Way Home was the film that finally made the MCU version of Spider-Man feel more like Spider-Man to me. He is finally at that point where he feels like Spider-Man. Like, in Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, he felt like he was in Tony Stark's shadow. He's no longer there. Tony Stark is gone. Everyone forgot who he was. Now he is finally, to me at least, feels like Spider-Man. He can finally feel like Spider-Man. I think for his next film, they should have something more street level. You have Kingpin show up and save the symbiote for the 5th Spider-Man film in the MCU. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.